Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of Process of Elimination. So, what just happened is we discovered a body of senior detective. That's what they're saying it is. But this is a little crazy because I don't know I don't know if there's like a culprit among the detectives. That seems to be the case. There's nobody else here. But yeah, I think now we're gonna solve a mystery, and hopefully our character, the main character, makes some smarter decisions from now on. I don't remember his name. What was his name? I can't remember. I'll learn the names. I'll memorize the names soon enough. But I mean, then again, nobody has names. He's just incompetent detective, which I think is hilarious because it reminds me of Makaru and how she called Yuki. That was his name, right? Why can't I remember? What's wrong with me? She called him incompetent the whole time. Anyway, let's get going. I stand in a corner, my mind completely blank. Me too, apparently, because I can't even remember anyone's name anymore. This is my first time witnessing a murder scene in person. Saika's death is seared in my mind, but this is different. Someone I know lies torn to pieces in a vivid sea of blood. Dead. So the senior detective is the guy who, quote, recruited us on the street that time, right? Like that's who's dead right now. I think. I'm no great detective, and although I try to steel myself, coming face to face with a scene like this has me too weak to stand. Even once I regain my footing, my legs still struggle to remain upright. The metallic stench of fresh blood is one I'll never be able to get used to. I breathe through my mouth as much as possible. I mean, even if you breathe through your mouth, it doesn't really completely negate the smell. I mean, it helps a little bit if you're not directly breathing through your nose, but it's still getting in there. It's impossible to really block out a scent without like really covering your nose. Right? It'll still kind of smell like that, and honestly, if you breathe through your mouth like that and there's a horrible stench, it'll probably start to taste like it too. So that's disturbing. If I had the choice, I'd sprint out of this room this very second. Workaholic detective ignores me as he investigates the corpse with a meticulous efficiency. I wish everybody had a name. Then again, I'd probably forget it because I'm forgetful this evening for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'll chalk it up to it's Friday night and I'm tired. He and the victim must have been well acquainted. His pained look when we found the body suggests that his mental burden is far greater than mine. Yet, despite that, he shows no sign of weakness. How much experience solving homicides would it take to become a detective like him? I can't even fathom it the way I am now. The other detectives, who had been summoned by Doleful Detective, are unable to hide their shock at the sight. What's the big deal here? I thought Pops was supposed to have made it. Did he get offed while we were rushing over here? That's like so sad, it's not even funny. But that doesn't make any sense. We arrived at the manor 20 minutes after Senior Detective's message. For someone to chop up a body to this extent, hide the weapon, and escape in that amount of time, it's scientifically impossible. I think it's one of the detectives who's here now, right? I mean, we did pass that facility that had all the bodies in it. We didn't go in, but there were like a ton of dead bodies in there. This level of blood loss would preclude minor mortis, and rigor mortis hasn't even set in yet. Liver mortis, not minor. I can't read, apparently. I may be stating the obvious, since he called us just prior, but the state of coagulation indicates that he was killed less than half a day ago. Half a day ago? When did we get the message? I don't even know. We were stuck in a locker. I don't know. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. Let's re-establish the order of events. Senior contacted us at 12:40. We then split into teams and headed to Gormenghast from Snarks. Since we arrived right at 1 o'clock, we can safely assume the crime occurred in the 20 minutes it took to travel from the facility to the manor. Question, teacher? Isn't there, like, a chance that the criminal could have, like, booked it before we left Snarks? What is Snarks? Am I just dumb? Do I just not remember? I feel like I should remember. I played part 1 just a week ago. That's it. Like, it hasn't been that long. Not at all. We headed to Gormenghast as soon as Senior contacted us. Had the killer tried to escape, we'd have surely seen them en route. Thus, the killer must have been within the manor when we arrived. Hey, I can hoof it for days, but it'd still take me 10 minutes to run down the hill to the facility. Your theory checks out. I can't really... The voice I have for the rowdy detective, I can't nail it for some reason. Like, everything I try for her sounds just wrong to me. You know what? Maybe she's the killer, so then I don't have to do her voice anymore. Sorry, that's a horrible thing for me to say. But I don't know, there's something about her voice that I can't do. And, like, my gut reaction is to do, like, that voice I like to do, but really kills my throat. We'll see, though. I mean, we'll see. So, the key question is this. Is the perpetrator still inside? Let's consider the time frame for when they could have made their escape. We found incompetent... I'm sorry. They actually call him incompetent. That's hilarious to me. It's like Yuki. And Macaulay, thank you, incompetent. Sorry, I miss Danganronpa every day. We found incompetent in the entrance hall and spoke for a time, then made our way upstairs 15 minutes later, so around 1:15. After that, thanks to Rowdy and Techie, we discovered the hidden passageway at 1:34. You can see the entire entrance hall from the corridor before the hidden passage, so escaping undetected would be a challenge. Maybe they didn't escape at all, and they're one of you. It's possible, right? Like, they're saying it's impossible to escape undetected, so maybe the culprit is one of you. If the killer was in the manor, their only chance to escape would be the 20 minutes we spent investigating the second floor. Ergo, it is highly probable that they are, in fact, still within the manor. They probably are. They're one of you guys. I don't know which one yet, but it has to be. But wouldn't 20 minutes be more than enough time for time? What? I'm sorry. Let me do that again. This is the main character. Okay. But wouldn't 20 minutes be more than enough time to slip away? You could make it outside easily enough, but the real problem comes after the fact. There's only one path from here to Snarks, and there's no place to hide. The jig would be up if you were seen from a window. It simply isn't realistic. Exactly. I actually made a point of checking out the windows, but I didn't see anything or anyone suspicious. Hold up. No one's in the entrance hall right now. Isn't that, kind of sketch? Like, they could totally escape whenever. Oh, that's perfectly alright. The chief is heading over from Snarks as we speak. If the killer tries to flee now, they're certain to get caught before they make it down the mountain path. Which means the foul slayer does indeed still lurk within these walls? Alright then. In that case, let's head back up on the double. It's time for good old-fashioned manor mouse hunt. Just a moment. There's a more viable method than hiding out in the manor for all this time. Oh, that's not, no one's speaking. I don't need to do a British accent anymore. I just like to do a British accent, okay? I'm sorry, I'm probably offending every British person ever, but I enjoy it. Workaholic points directly at me, drawing the focus of the other detectives. Incompetent. If you're the killer, then there is no issue regarding timing. It would all be entirely feasible. Excuse me? Excuse me? Are you pointing the finger at me right now? Huh? My voice cracks as I'm caught completely off guard. Me? The killer? How does that make any sense? It's simple. All you need to do is hack up Senior, then lie in the entrance hall faking unconsciousness. Easily done in 20 minutes. Are you sure about that? Listen, I don't know anything about dismemberment, but in 20 minutes you can completely dismember a whole body and then go upstairs. You would be covered in blood, so you'd have to change your clothes and maybe wash your skin. And you would change your clothes, wash yourself, and then go all the way upstairs and lie down and pretend to be unconscious. What? That's impossible to do in 20 minutes. Shut up. Shut up, workaholic. Whatever your name is. I feel like your name is probably like Seth or something. I don't know. I don't know. If the culprit was unable to escape the manor, we can only assume that said culprit is you. What are you saying? There's no way I could chop someone apart in 20 minutes. Not to mention all the wires that were set up along the underground passage. How would I have gotten past those? I raised my voice in protest without thinking. Even with Armor and Doleful's help, getting through that passage took 5 minutes. It's hard to imagine anyone like me, with no special traits, making it through so quickly. There's the real conundrum. I figure you use some sort of trick. At any rate, I doubt it's necessarily impossible. Shut up. I don't like you already. Why are you automatically blaming me? Maybe he's the culprit. I doubt it. He's probably gonna be a character that stays alive this whole time. But what happens when you catch the culprit? It's not like they're gonna be executed Monokuma style. What's gonna happen? I don't know. What do you mean? Listen closely. Can you hear the voices above us? He's right. If I strain my ears, I can pick up sounds coming down from the ceiling. Who are they coming from, though? We should be the only people inside the manor right now. In terms of layout, our current location is directly beneath the entrance hall. I presume that what we're hearing is the chief arriving at the manor. As this basement is likely a hiding spot, there may be extra space between the floorboards so that noise can drift in from above. It's true that you can hear quite a bit from in a basement. Trust me, I know. Now that he mentions it, my own eyes spot gaps in the ceiling where light is filtering through. As Workaholic Detective said, it must be coming from the entrance hall above us. Regardless, the rooms are vertically adjoined. One could greatly reduce time required to move between them by means of some gimmick. And then how does that explain you would be covered in blood? How does it... You would chop up, completely dismember an entire body of a fully grown man and change. You have to change your clothes. And what do you do with the old clothes? You'd be covered in blood. Explain. Explain, workaholic. You could say tamper with the floor of the entrance hall, creating a gap wide enough for a person to slip through the basement ceiling. What? That seems like a major stretch. Even if you're a very small, slight person, it would still be a big enough hole that, like, it would be noticed or someone would just step right through it. Like, it doesn't matter how small of a person you are. If you made a hole big enough for someone to squeeze through, how would you cover that up? Like, with a... I guess you could go with, like, a rug. But if the second someone steps on it, whoop, down they go. Or if they don't go down, they could get stuck. You know, like, if they're bigger than the person who supposedly made a hole in the ceiling to climb through. Like, that sounds so ridiculous to me. Like, and then where's the hole in the ceiling right now? How would you fix it? You only have 20 minutes. Workaholic's relentless reasoning leaves me overwhelmed. Even if there is a gap, there's no way someone my size could fit through it. Seriously, like, no. Shoot holes in his argument because he doesn't make any sense right now. Still, he's right about one thing. The entrance hall and the basement are awfully close together. Even if it were the smallest person here, the rowdy girl, she's the smallest. Or maybe a techie boy, he might be the smallest. But, like, even if it were one of them, like, it would still have to be big enough for a person. Like, it's not like an animal to squeeze through. It's a person. I don't know. His reasoning makes no sense to me, and I don't like it. It's far-fetched. I don't like it. How can I possibly clear my name now that we know it's possible to move between them? We don't know that. Where's the proof? Can you move between them right now? Show me. Show me with my eyes. I want to see it with my eyes. Aren't you jumping to some major conclusions here? It's not like you could prove there isn't a hole connecting the ceiling to the entrance. Your whole... what? Probatio Diabolica bit is just bullying him into a corner. Like, talk about a total mood killer. Thank you, downtown, with your, you know, Gen Z lingo that I don't understand. Thank you, because it really does feel like he's being bullied into a corner. Like, Workaholic's argument makes no sense. Lady Downtown has the right of it. So long as any such gimmick remains hidden, your accusation is out of the question. Perchance my plasma knuckles, capable of winning any bout, could make such a hole, but still. A punched-out hole wouldn't close back up anyway. Thank you. First things first, is it even possible to dismember an adult male to this extent within 20 minutes? Thank you. Someone has some common sense. Isn't this workaholic supposed to be like the highest rank of the detectives that are all here? Like, his argument, it's bad. Unless he's doing this on purpose and trying to deflect and it was actually him? I don't know. Even if the killer themselves is a male, they would need an extremely deft hand and amputation to pull off something so difficult. Yeah, seriously, I don't know anything about it, but like, come on. In 20 minutes, you dismember and completely clean yourself up? Because if you dismember somebody, you're gonna be covered in blood, right? What would you do with those clothes? Like, there's so many questions that his argument makes no sense. Not like you'd need to skin him or bleed him out. Any hunter could do it. Hell, it would have been a snap if I was the crook. So, it's safe to assume you're the culprit then? I just bet I could is all. There's no time to deal with all that spurting blood anyhow. Yeah, she's right. Because how would you deal with all the blood? Because clearly it's on the ceiling, so clearly it was an intense, from the way she put it, spurting. Ugh. Actually, I'd say there was. Workaholic probably shares my thoughts on that. Doleful, not you too. So you notice as well. It's true. One could dismember a body in a short span of time if they use those wires we encountered. Okay, I see that argument. Okay, I'll give you that one. As he speaks, Workaholic holds up a blood-drenched wire. Where did you get that from? Hello? Unpleasant as it is, I'm reminded of how easily Doleful Detective's leg was cut earlier. You mean someone used this wire on Senior Detective? Yes. In fact, it's possible that Senior Detective was already wrapped up in these wires when he got in contact with us. He may have done so under duress, after which the wires were pulled, slicing him into pieces. All that remains then is for the culprit to escape. I chanced on one of those wires again when I went to get the others. My foot happened to slip on it since it was coated in blood. Based on the amount of blood, it's clearly not the same wire you first encountered. The killer must have anticipated us getting past the wires in the passage and discarded it on the floor there. Or perhaps the killer themselves set the trap in order to hide the murder weapon. Either way, we have no other recourse but to suspect incompetent for now. Speak up if you have any objections. Hello? Yes, I have an objection. It was not me. I didn't do it! I shout on impulse. Regret fills me almost immediately. I'd say the same thing if I was guilty, as would anybody in my shoes. I refuse to believe incompetent did it. But that's all the more reason for us to find out what really happened. Oh, so Doleful doesn't think it's me. Only Workaholic thinks it's me. Like, what do you have against me, my guy? Agreed. I don't want to accept that a fellow DA member could do such a thing. But as a detective, pursuing the truth is paramount. Workaholic fixes me with a steely look. I want to speak up, but I don't know what to say. I've reached my limits just processing all of these theories. There's no room for me to make my own deductions. Hold up. Ain't the idea of incompetent being the perp a bit too, I don't know, far-fetched? You ask me, we got the wrong guy here. Thank you, Rowdy. Thank you. Do you have evidence to support this? I'd like to know why you don't suspect incompetent. Do you suspect me too, Techie? Call it a gut feeling. I'm usually down on the money with these sort of things. That's downright scientifically impossible. We need to base our investigation on solid proof and logic. Back off, Poindexter. You looking for a fight? I feel like she just probably goes up to every single person. She's like, "Want to fight? Want to fight?" I like her though. Okay, time out. No more fighting, guys. You're like seriously harshing my vibe. I hit my microphone stand. I'm sorry. I hit the arm with it. If you could hear it, I'm sorry. When I do Downtown's voice, I put my hand up like I'm a cool person. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassing myself now. But that little punk was the one who... Look, it's not like Techie said he full on suspects incompetent or whatever. Am I right? Precisely. I simply believe it's too early to confirm or deny that hypothesis. We can't rule out either conclusion yet. The culprit could have fled, but they also could still be inside the building. Oh, sorry about that. I might have gotten ahead of myself there. Again. Workaholic detective claps his hands, interrupting the discussion. Okay, Mr. Hoity-toity, clapping your hands to get our attention. Ugh. I don't like him. It appears we have a number of opinions. I'm going to the entrance hall to meet with the chief. Let's investigate this individually after that. Halt, Sir Workaholic! We have many a detective assembled here already. Ought we not to join forces and confront this case together? Perhaps. But even in this short amount of time, our conflicting opinions have already come to light. Each of us seeks to tackle this case through a starkly different approach. Collaborating in these conditions would only work against us. I concur. I'll proceed with my investigation in my own way, calmly and scientifically. You know, sometimes it's okay to work together, my friends. What's with that glare? You got a bone to pick with me or something? I already apologized. At the end of the day, I'm human. I'm not gonna get where I need to be by following my heart. That alone ought to disqualify you from this line of work. Like hell! It's all over once a detective forgets what it means to be human. Oh my god. Just cool it already. I literally just asked you not to fly off the handle. Downtown Detective does her best to intervene as Rowdy shouts at Techie. Doleful stands beside the three of them, flustered and directionless, as Armor and Workaholic continue their heated debate. It doesn't seem like the investigation is going to start anytime soon. Just like Workaholic Detective said, everyone's playing this by their own rules, so no one is taking the lead. Everyone? I want to suggest we all work together, but the words die in my throat. There's no way I could be so bold when I'm the prime suspect. I know that, and yet I feel like I need to say something. My fist clenches. Unlike me, each of the detectives here has their own talents and strengths. It's my incompetence that really drives home how amazing they are. But that's exactly why I need to speak up now. Now's not the time for arguing, wouldn't you say? I chime in, but my voice comes out so softly that no one hears me. Together, these detectives could solve any case, and yet here they are, arguing. That angers me far more than being a suspect. I failed to save someone again, even though Senior Detective was so close by. What's the point of being a detective if all I could do is sit around and watch these things happen? My self-loathing mounts as I listen to them bicker amongst each other. My position in this situation doesn't matter. What happens to me isn't as important as getting these detectives to work as a team. Seriously though, they should be working as a team. It's stupid to do it individually. He's right. Incompetent is right. Everyone, please listen. The other detectives turn to face me. Naturally, they all look rather dubious. I falter for a moment, but desperately push on. I know a lot of you suspect me. That's fine. There's a lot to suspect, and I understand that. But can't you all at least try to cooperate? Cooperate? That's a tall order. Our personal modes of investigation are hardly compatible. I'm always down for a collab, but you're kind of asking for the impossible right now. I mean, we couldn't even agree on whether or not you're the prime suspect. Is there going to be a trial? I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. That's why I want everyone to agree on what direction to take. What direction to take? That's right. Although I'm too tense to make a proper response, I force my voice out, trying to be bold as I give detectives my suggestion. Please, proceed with your investigation under the assumption that I did it. If you start there, you'll be less likely to have any more arguments like this one. Right? Bro, what? Why are you telling them to suspect you? The detectives fall silent. Maybe telling them to suspect me was too brazen of a move after all. Is your head screwed on wrong or something? After all the effort we spent defending you, you got the guts to ask to be the suspect. Have you lost your goddamn marbles? I beseech you not to give up, Sir Incompetent. What has become of your resolve? I'm not giving up. It's not as if I want to be the main suspect here. But it'd be even worse if the investigation stalled out because of me. I'm staking my safety on your deductive reasoning. I raise my voice with all my strength, my trembling hands balling into fists. I trust all of you far more than my own incompetence. If you work together, I know the truth will come out. I'm sure you'll prove I didn't do it. The detectives silently take in my words. Not one of them speaks up. They all simply stare at me, incredulous. I guess my suggestion was overstepping my bounds. I've only made them all even more distrustful of me. But I don't regret it. I'd much rather have these outstanding detectives suspect me than continue arguing in vain. What voice am I supposed to do here? So you insist that because we're on the case, we'll end up proving you aren't the culprit? I don't know. I don't know whose voice this is. Such words make one feel blessed to be a detective. Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I hear a cold, beautiful voice behind me. My breath catches as I turn around. Oh, hello. Who are you? Just how should we respond when a suspect gives a statement like that? Continue to argue, never to find any common ground? Or take action, swiftly and promptly? I eagerly await your answer. Her hair is white as snow. Her gleaming eyes purple like hydrangeas. Her skin smooth, with features like a porcelain doll. Kirigiri? I mean, that's the exact same description as Kirigiri, so. At our backs stands a far from ordinary girl. The others are visibly thrown off by her arrival. It's clear that she stands out, even among these prominent detectives. Chief? Why are you here? I specified that I would meet you at the entrance when you arrived. Do you truly believe I would wait idly by when my dear friend, senior detective, has been murdered? Out of the question. I left our colleagues to themselves and went ahead on my own. The girl workaholic called Chief speaks without a hint of timidity. Timidity? Why is she the chief, but she looks like she's like, what, 20 years old? How is she the chief? Footsteps sound out from the passageway. Evidently, the other detectives followed her lead, heading to this room. We never told you about the basement, did we? We figured it'd be better that way, so no one would get hurt inside the tunnel. I noticed an echo beneath my feet upon entering, so I placed my ear to the floor, and what should I hear but your voices? From there, I deduced the general layout and discovered the secret path that had been left open. Hardly a mystery, really. The chief shares her amazing feats as though they were simply a matter of course. We worked so hard to find this underground room, and yet she found it by merely touching the floor. No wonder others looked shocked. Huh? I startle as the girl gives me a smile. Compared to how she treats the others, her gaze on me feels more personal. No, I'm probably mistaken. I must be. So, you're the newcomer I've been hearing about? I am Ideal Detective. I lead the team working to stop the quartering Duke. Your spirited appeal earlier was admirable. I'm expecting much of you, so keep at it, and never hesitate to share your thoughts. I apologize for losing my composure just now. Once the other detectives arrive, I'll brief you all on the situation and give my impressions. Okay, but nobody cares. I'm sorry. But nobody cares. Oh, thank you, Workaholic. That would be much appreciated. But first, allow me to clear up a certain misconception you seem to be laboring under. Each and every member of the Quartering Duke investigation is a suspect. You, I, or any of us have the means to carry out this murder. What? Commotion erupts as the detectives speak over each other. Which, of course, is unsurprising. Other than me, nobody else was in the manor at the time Senior Detective died. On top of that, this murder required enough time for a full dismemberment. In what possible way could he have been killed? Ideal Detective has only just arrived here, but her hydrangea-like eyes glimmer like gems, as if they've picked up on something. The outline of the case is clear. All that remains is for us to pool our efforts and ascertain the reality of the situation. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe it's time to make our reprisal. Soon enough, the other detectives join us at the scene. Hello, who are you? Okay, there's more. I don't know what voices to do for anybody. I guess that's the problem when I turn their actual voices off. Ah, God damn it, Senior. To think your time would come so soon. Just how many trials does the Lord expect us to endure? I vow that I, Mystic Detective, shall send the culprit straight to hell. Mark my words, Quartering Duke. The flames below burn hot. Who is that? Who's saying that? The mysterious dude with the long hair behind it, but in the back? But you weren't even close to Senior Detective, the girl said, coldly stating the facts. Ew, is there a character that actually talks like that? You mustn't mock our bond, Buki. Members of the DA are spiritually bound. Soulmates. The extent of our interactions is irrelevant. Repulsive spiritual intimacy aside, I concur. The quartering duke must pay, the girl said, fist shaking at the thought of her adversary. A middle-aged man in an anachronistic Western garments and a black-haired girl, clutching a hardcover book, approached the body, chatting. The man has the mien of a seasoned veteran. The girl, on the other hand, looks around 10, yet doesn't flinch at the sight of a corpse. Both of them must be experienced detectives. I, posh detective, ranked number 5 in the DA, have already arrived at the crux of this mystery. The woman, dressed so elegantly that she looks out of place, jabs a finger at me. Our culprit is the commoner found unconscious, incompetent detective. The hastily hidden knife on the second floor proves he was unable to escape. Oh dear me, there I go again, demonstrating my incredible acumen. Perhaps it's time I took the reins as chief instead. Now, hold on a moment. Didn't I reject that theory just now? I beg your pardon? Her theory is the one that's utter hogwash, I'm sure. Isn't that right, gourmet detective? The woman called Posh Detective speaks to someone in a motorcycle suit who smiles as if she's enjoying herself. And who, of course, had to be drawn like that. Okay? Alrighty. Of course. I'm not even surprised. I wonder about that. Anyway, I don't smell Renegade lingering around. Where'd he go? Snack break? Upon arriving, he decided to abstain, stating that this case didn't interest him. I imagine you'll find him napping in the first floor living room. There's more voices I need to do? How am I supposed to keep track? Someone's gonna end up with a southern accent like Teria at this point. Napping? Even though Senior Detective, a legend in our field, has been killed? Why, I never! Just what is that man thinking? Renegade's non-conforming nature is his strong suit. I'm sure he'll put his talents to use later on, so let's leave him be for now. Lenient leadership like this is why high-ranking agents defy your orders. Classified detective and detective gentleman didn't even deign to show up. On the honor of the Pinkerton name, I swear that I will wrest the title of chief from you. Ideal Detective doesn't flinch and merely smiles at Posh Detective's belligerence. Thank you, Posh. Zealous subordinates such as yourself allow me to plunge into my work without fear, despite the risk. Should the enemy ever succeed in removing me from the front lines, I entrust the Detective Alliance to you. I'll thank you not to speak such ominous things. Your achievements far surpass mine. Nothing of the sort could ever happen. I shall supplement your position by my own merits. Be sure of it, my destined rival. Workaholic Detective explains the situation to those who arrived from the facility. Once he's finished, Ideal Detective addresses us. As you can see, Senior Detective, believed to be the last surviving member from Detective Alliance headquarters, has been murdered. Which means, in all likelihood, that the perpetrator is part of the DA as well. Tensions rise across the room. Some detectives look at each other, while others turn their gazes at me. It doesn't seem like they're going to stop suspecting me anytime soon. That common pleb simply must be the killer. My high-born brain cells reassure me so. Ugh, she's awful. I agree. Rationally speaking, no one but incompetent could be the culprit. His story is dubious from A to Z. I know that when the British people say Z, okay? I know things. Though you two are of common birth, your words ring true. I grant you leave to sing my praises, workaholic detective, loud and clear. I wasn't actually praising you. Let's begin by clearing up the most fundamental misapprehension. Incompetent detective is no intruder. I personally invited him to our meeting as a formal member. You personally invited him? But why? Workaholic addresses the elephant in the room. Even I'm hearing this for the first time. I have no idea what she intends for me. As if sensing my confusion, Ideal Detective's eyes meet my own. Those hydrangea-hued irises implore me to trust her. How many times are they going to describe her eyes looking like hydrangeas? It's been like 5 times already now. Listen, someone go back and edit this and take a few of those out. Come on, it's too much. From a writing standpoint, it's too much. It's simple, really. I wish to have the person I trust most at my side. What? Listen, the second I saw her, I had a thought that maybe she's actually the girl he saw get killed. Which sounds crazy because, like, he said he saw her die. But what if this ideal detective is actually his, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't say childhood friend, but the person he saw that we keep seeing in his flashbacks. I don't know. That sounds a bit like a far-fetched idea, but it was something I thought about. He may not remember, but he once saved my life. I consider his potential abilities to be no less than extraordinary. I requested that Senior Detective invite him to the island, but I didn't anticipate his methods would involve a kidnapping and confinement. Workaholic Detective's mouth hangs open as Ideal Detective casually explains the unexpected. Which makes sense. This is an extreme mixture of business and private affairs. I can tell he's in no state to begin even questioning her. Not to mention, I'm quite surprised myself. I saved her life, but we've only just met. Like, what if she is the girl? What if she didn't actually I don't know. That sounds weird. Like, I don't know. It was a thought that came into my head as soon as I saw her. I have more questions than I can count, but at the very least, this does make me seem a little bit less suspicious. Now is not the time to make any clumsy comments, so I stay quiet and let Ideal Detective take the floor. Is that really it? Something smells fishy to me. It's true what they say. Your nose is unmatched, but please, suspect away. There's nothing to feel guilty about. So, if incompetent isn't the killer, who is? All of us, save for incompetent, were in the research facility when Senior got in touch with us, so we were all away from the scene. Oh, excellent question, Doleful. That very occurrence is what caused you all to suspect incompetent, correct? That was the culprit's first trap. Senior Detective's message was not, in fact, sent from down in this basement. But Senior Detective was unquestionably killed here, just after making contact, wasn't he? The girl asked the chief with full sincerity.
I have it. His spirit was compelled to contact us post-mortem. Quite possible with the right voodoo ritual.
Dude, can you explain to me why your mustache is above your nose? Can you explain to me why it's in line with your nose like that? Shouldn't it be below? I'm sorry. I'm fixated on his mustache. Like, I wish he didn't have it. Like, I'm just gonna take a pencil and just erase it. He would look so much better. I'm just saying. Keep quiet, you occult-obsessed twit, snapped the girl, scolding the man for his useless comment. She called him a twit. Naturally, mystic is incorrect, but making the dead speak is a step in the right direction. I've tested it, and this basement has no signal. Contacting the outside simply isn't possible from here. I beg your pardon? The other detectives pipe up in shock. Does this mean that Senior Detective was restrained somewhere other than the basement when he made contact? That can't be right. There were 20 minutes between the message being sent and the detective's arrival at the manor. Maybe the message was pre-recorded and he was dead before it was even sent out. We need the Monokuma file that comes with the time of death. It would be impossible to drag someone down that narrow, wire-filled passage, not to mention dismembering them in so short a time frame. It's a fact that Senior contacted us, no? If not from the basement, how else could he have done it? It's all a simple trick, really, once you've thought it out. The culprit imitated Senior's voice, just as I'm doing right now. Ideal Detective sounds just like Senior Detective as she speaks. Sorry, if I would have known that, I would have tried to do a different voice for her. But that's what happens when I mute all the character voices. I'm sorry. It's less immersive with me reading. If my eyes were closed, I may as well have mistaken her for the man himself. She's that skilled at impersonating him. Vocal mimicry. That's certainly a possibility if the killer is the kind of person I imagine them to be. Vocal mimicry. I've heard about this historical skill from my mentor. It originated from Edo period theater. He told me how there were established modes of practice, and that in the DA, where disguises often came in handy, many were experts in the art. Though I doubt I could ever master it, no matter how hard I tried. I definitely can't. Is that why you're so certain the culprit is part of the Detective Alliance? If a traitor lurks in our midst, then the massacre at Snarks would be plausible enough, as would the idea of a faked message from Senior Detective. Such criminal acts would be feasible for another detective, paradoxically increasing the odds that one is indeed the culprit. Exactly. A mere intruder killing 22 research facility detectives would be inconceivable. This was most assuredly an inside job. We were unable to control our turmoil when we discovered the bodies in the facility, and so did the traitor among us bide their time. The killer would have an easy time manipulating us through the call. A far easier time than slipping up through the ceiling to the entrance hall. Hold up. I don't care how cool detectives are. No way they can just copy people's voices.
Verily, my training earned my... what? My training earned me mighty thews.
Thews? What? What is that word? I've never seen that word before.
Yet my vocal cords remain middling at best. Such mimicry is out of the question.
I'll concede that it couldn't normally be done, but we are facing someone who easily slew a dozen of our comrades. No normal killer, to be sure. If we are professionals in logic and reason, then our opponent is a specialist in homicide. One or two impossible feats would hardly faze them. Don't let your perception limit your perspective. Bodily alterations, unfeasible acts, a murderous fiend will stop at nothing to achieve their aims. Both of them fall silent at Ideal Detective's words. Her persuasiveness holds a weight that brooks no argument. If that phone message was falsified, Chief, then by the time we received it, Senior was...
Precisely. He was already dead. Or at least in no state to speak. The culprit used the call to tamper with the with the chronology of the crime.
Can't read. I'm sorry, it's the microphone right in front of my face. I'm just blaming everything on everything except myself. No, the problem is me. Hi. So, the dismembered body is meant to make us think this was done by the quartering Duke, as well as distort the time of the death. How ingenious. My deepest apologies for allowing the killer's ploy to deceive me. It would seem I still have much more to learn. Workaholic Detective hangs his head. Ideal Detective smiles gently at him before continuing to speak. The culprit set up Senior's death in here and fled with his D-pad. Then, per their plan, they contacted me as we investigated Snarks. In doing so, they summoned the DA members to the manor so that Senior's body would be discovered.
Hold up, boss. We all heard that recording you made of old Senior's message, right?
Is it even remotely scientifically possible that none of us would notice his voice wasn't the same? That would be due to the particular what? Sorry. That would be due to the peculiarities of the human memory. The human brain excels at recalling visuals, but struggles to do the same with linguistic and auditory information. Because of this, it's not uncommon for people to be incapable of identifying a caller on the phone, even if it's someone they know well. I mean, that's always interesting because, like, on the phone, it's true that a lot of people sound quite different on the phone than they do in person. So, I mean, yeah, I can see it. They often say that a client's name is easier to remember when associated with a voice or face. Things grow hazier with words and sound alone. Yeah, sometimes, once you hear a person's name on the phone, your memory makes the connection with their voice. Same diff.
Bank transfer scams are a prime example. The scammer begins by providing the caller's name, so you fall for it even if their voice doesn't match. You end up convincing yourself that any oral discrepancies are the result of a poor connection.
Speaking of, Old Man Senior's message was like totally screwy with static. I could barely hear him. Was that just a cover-up?
Likely so. The whole thing seems contrived. If you knew all of this, then why respond to the summons? Dispatching detectives to follow the whims of a killer. Oh, the gal. Because I wanted to believe it was him. For the first time, Ideal Detective's expression grows dark and serious. If the culprit was impersonating Senior, it meant he couldn't speak. It meant I would never see him alive again. That's why I decided to split our forces in two, all while hoping that Senior still lived. By virtue of their self-defense expertise, I sent Armor and Rowdy to the manor in case there were any traps. But as you can tell, my conjecture was right on the mark. I've never tested my powers of insight as much as I do today. Her mirthless, sorrowful laughter startles me. I realize now that those skilled at deductive reasoning can also foresee the grim future. Ideal Detective predicted the death of her friend. The pain she's feeling must be greater than I can even imagine. However, a detective's job is not to lament tragedies, but to unravel truths behind them and reverse their bleak outcome. Our 23 murdered comrades will not go unavenged. On this, you have my word. Ladies and gentlemen, I call upon your aid. If all 13 of us combine our efforts, I know for a fact we can stop the Quartering Duke. But this wasn't done by the Quartering Duke, right? It was done by one of them. Maybe one of them is secretly working for the Quartering Duke, like a spy or something. I don't know. I realize that everyone else is silent, each of them listening intently to what Ideal Detective is saying. It's incredible to think that they were all arguing just moments ago. In such a short amount of time, the strength of her abilities and resolve has gained the trust of her fellow detectives. Now, without further ado, there's something I'd like us all to investigate. I'll send the details via D-pad. For now, please go where instructed. I've a vague sense of what really happened here. By the time you've finished, the truth should take shape and reveal itself before us. Ladies and gentlemen of the Detective Alliance, let us reverse this tragedy. After receiving directions from Ideal Detective, the others take their leave from the basement and begin their investigations. We had been divided into teams of 3, leaving Ideal Detective, Armor Detective, and myself with the crime scene. Ideal Detective appears to be in deep thought, so I decide to join Armor Detective in examining the body. True to the Quartering Duke's name, the victim's head, arms, and legs have all been severed away from the torso. Like, was it the Duke himself, or was it like a follower of the Duke? You know, like a spy? The more I look, the more horrific the manner of death appears. It's so savage. I can't believe the culprit is even human. It's a little reminiscent to me of chapter 3 in Danganronpa and Other 2. I'm not going to say more in case someone watching hasn't also watched that, which you should, by the way. But it's reminding me of that. If you know, you know. But the cruel truth is inescapable. What lies before us is the depraved work of not a monster, but a person. Sir Incompetent, even if the culprit used a wire, do these cross-sections on the corpse not appear too clean to you? The cross-sections? Grudgingly, I take a closer look at the severed parts. They've been cut so perfectly straight it seems unnatural. Yeah, even if you had a really sharp wire, wouldn't you kind of like hack? Like kind of like it's a saw, you know? Like you're sawing a piece of wood? No? Like I feel like it would be a little bit more jagged even with a super sharp wire like that. I don't know though. Surely a human body couldn't be that easy to slice clean through. Yeah, probably not, especially when you get to the bone. Ooh, evidence acquired. Overly clean cut. Ew, why'd they have to make it look like meat? Disturbing. No matter how keen a wire's edge may be, by no means could mere human strength saw through a limb in one smooth stroke. When cutting paper with scissors, the blade's path shifts each time you part and join them, does it not? Yes, it does. That's why I'm awful at using scissors. I should go back to kindergarten and learn how to do it. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, scissors, not. It's not easy. To make it a straight line, I mean. Okay, I know how to use scissors. Okay, I'm not that incompetent. Okay. True. And the more you try to correct it, the more misshapen it gets, if only subtly. Wait, so then the culprit didn't use human strength, but rather some other method to wind the wire around Senior Detective? Another method. Of course! This could only mean... It could only mean... Mean what? I haven't the faintest clue. Me neither. Both of our shoulders droop. Come to think of it, why is blood dripping from the ceiling? Does human blood have the force to spray that high into the air? I mean, it might, right? Like, I don't know. That happens sometimes, right? Like if you hit an artery, for example, I feel like if you hit an artery, it could, spray like that, like a sprinkler. That's such a disturbing image in my head. But like I feel like it could, like say from like the neck or maybe the thigh, that vein in your thigh. Like it's possible, but like the neck especially, but it looks like here it was from it's a lot on the ceiling. Huh? You're right. The whole ceiling splattered red. What could have caused that? Because like I feel like even if it sprays like that, it would most likely be from the neck. I feel like. Would it cover that much of the ceiling? No, I feel like it would just be some spots like around where the neck was. Like if he was, say, lying down on the floor. I don't know. Listen, I don't know about these things. I don't know. Evidence acquired, a blood-stained ceiling. It does seem like a lot, though. That there's a lot of it on the ceiling. Like almost a perfect mirror of how it is on the floor. Eureka! Did you figure something out, Armor? Indeed. I have determined that we are woefully unfit for this task. 'Twould seem mystery solving is far beyond our ken. Oh my god, dude. I can't. You don't mince words, do you? True to his appearance, Armor really does fall on the bronze end of the spectrum. It takes all kinds to be a detective, I guess. However, being that I'm the top suspect in this case, his candor and utter lack of suspicion are a total relief. Though he does strike me as kind of an enigma somehow. I see you've managed to relax a little bit, incompetent. Ideal detective approaches, visibly enjoying herself. I'm glad that deer in the headlights look from before is melted away, though I suppose it did have its charm. Were you able to sort out whether I was on your mind, whatever was on your mind, Ideal? Yes, I've clearly deduced every element of this case. All that's left is to have the rest of you set to work finding the evidence. Oh, so she's one of them. She's already solved the whole thing and she knows. We've only just started and already she's pieced together the truth of the situation. With intellect like hers, it's no wonder she's the de facto head and second highest ranked member of the DA. If I may, Lady Ideal, wherefore did you station me here? Huh? Oh yes, wherefore? Wherefore means why. So like in Romeo and Juliet, when she's like, wherefore art thou, Romeo? She's not asking where he is. She's like, why is it you that I love, kind of thing. So he's saying, why did you station me here? I scarcely believe you would require my assistance. You would be correct. Frankly, I have low expectations of you, Armor, as far as your powers of deduction are concerned. Wow, that was harsh. Ideal gives a quick, straightforward reply, to the point where it's almost impressive. However, no one defends others with as much sincerity as you. Your personality impacts the team far more than you realize. It's because Incompetent feels comfortable around you that he's able to tackle the case with a calm mind. Isn't that right? I nod. She's hit the nail on the head. I'm much more at ease now than when everyone was clustered around me earlier. It's probably due to how much I already trust Armor, as well as how confident I am that he would protect me from danger. Though, if I'm being honest, there's nothing more in here worth examining at this stage. Come again? So all of our investigative efforts were for nothing? However, that is precisely why I can say with certainty that you are on the right track. Wonderfully done, both of you. Were another detective skilled in deduction around, I'm sure you would have picked up on a multitude of other points. Our success lies in teamwork. Consider how much progress was made by combining your strengths rather than working alone. I kept you here with me because I was positive that you would understand how crucial this concept can be. Ideal Detective's voice brushes against us with a gentle comfort. At this moment, I see her not as our mature, mysterious leader, but for the young girl she is, as if her mask has slipped off. Now then, let's give the other detectives their next instructions. And do stick close, if you would. I wish to avoid moving alone. With that, Ideal Detective leads us out of the basement. But I'm kind of tired of looking at that background. We've been in looking at that background for like over an hour of them talking. Oh, so much reading for me. I need some water. There is nary a soul before the passageway. Where could the other detectives have gone to investigate? Perhaps you should try using the map function on your D-pad. As soon as she speaks, Ideal Detective shows us the screen of her own device. Does it show you where everybody is? Oh, it does! Oh, cute! This is a map of the manor. See how each detective's position is marked? Anyone who has the location sharing feature turned on will appear here. It's set to on by default, but there are times you may prefer to turn it off, such as when visiting the restroom or committing a murder. So, like, I can choose where to go? Incredible. You can see where everyone is just at a glance. Huh? But I do not spy Lady Downtown, Sir Workaholic, or Lady Rowdy. Indeed. I asked them to stand guard outside. There is a possibility the culprit may have fled there, you see. What? Then let us sally forth as well. We cannot allow the fair maidens to stroll about the castle whilst the killer is on the prowl. I like to think that Armor also thinks of Workaholic Detective as a fair maiden. That would be hilarious. Moments after shouting this, Armor Detective rushes toward the entrance. Oh, off he goes. With Workaholic and Rowdy out there, they should be fine, but... well, let's leave him be. There are some things I wanted to tell you alone, anyway, incompetent. Ideal Detective continues her explanation. The map has 3 additional features. First is the marking function, with which flags mystery points, locations the detectives find dubious. Try checking these marked points if your investigation stalls out. Now, do you see how that one spot on the map is colored a different color? Yes, I see it. That is a location I have personally deemed suspicious, an evidence square. You can assume these areas contain hidden evidence. Finally, there is a share action function used by each individual to share whatever it is they are currently up to. As a demonstration, let's try moving the cursor over to Bookworm Detective. You should immediately be able to tell what she's doing. A detective's next action, such as infer or inspect, will be displayed overhead. Okay, so inspect is probably the magnifying glass, and infer is the Sherlock Holmes head? I don't know. Hover your cursor over the detective to see where they intend to move next. She has an odd feeling about the fireplace. Bookworm truly does have a good sense for this, but I doubt she'll figure it out by herself. So here's a question for you, incompetent. What would you do if you encountered a mystery you couldn't solve on your own? I don't know, ask for help? Persevere and continue searching. A real man never quits. Ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Okay, listen. Everybody who's watching this, there's nothing wrong with asking for help if you need help. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. Ask for help. It's okay. Your experience just now is already paying off. I like people who are quick on the uptake. The two of us are in accord. When faced with a problem you cannot solve alone, you must seek aid from your companions. But detectives are such prideful creatures, and sadly, most conduct their investigations alone, so they lack experience collaborating. From what I've seen so far, Bookworm is one such example. Encouraging her to cooperate would likely be pointless. So, what should I do then? Ideal Detective answers me with a smile. You should intervene. On their investigation, that is. Why does it say MP12? Is that like magic power? Do we have magic power in this game? I don't understand. Intervene. In other words, use the D-pad to instruct them to do something other than their current task. Mystic is nearby, so he'll suffice. Let's have him make his way to Bookworm so that they can investigate together. What, I'm controlling them like some omniscient god? Now, issue the command if you would. Huh? I freeze up as she casually orders me to do something completely unexpected. Why so stiff? Honestly, you're too cute. I'm merely asking you to pretend to be me and give some direction. That's all. That's all? What Ideal Detective is asking for isn't so easy to just gloss over. Even so, her expression remains dead serious. It'll be fine. Like sending an email. Here's my D-pad. Try issuing a command to him. But why me? Facing the unknown is precisely what a detective is obligated to do. Everything is a chance to gain experience, so go on. Doesn't seem like I can back out of this one. I'll just have to try giving some instructions. Okay, this is interesting. This it's like a board game. It's an interesting mechanic. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. Intervene with the detectives to reassign their independently planned actions. Detectives left to their own devices will make errors, investigate alone, and generally act inefficiently. Ooh, interesting. Intervene with these individuals and make them work together in order to facilitate a more efficient investigation process. To have Mystic cooperate with Bookworm, simply move him to the spot beside her. Okay. 9 hours remain until what? What was that? I didn't finish reading it. What did that say? Okay, so I grab him. I'm gonna move him. I'm gonna move him right there. And they're gonna be besties. Okay. Take a look. See how, even with their inference values combined, they are unable to solve the mystery of the fireplace? At times like these, you should give a command to the detective who's skilled at assisting. Detectives are able to assist each other from adjacent positions. Any character who is making an inference already or plans to do so can be assisted. Assisting lets you add a helper's assist value to an individual's inference value. Okay. This totally isn't going in one ear and out the other. You know, I'm totally retaining this information. I'm not retaining any of it. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm reading it, but it's not sticking. I feel like a dummy. Utilize this command properly to keep your investigation on track. Okay. Okay. Her assistance is 4. His is 8. So I think he is going to assist. Go. Nicely instructed. I'm impressed. I can already tell that their powers of inference have been enhanced. Now, they should easily discover whatever that fireplace is hiding. Alright, let's check out the entrance hall next. Posh is keeping the area near the chandelier all to herself. Gourmet and Doleful are holding back to give her space. Holding back, however, is unacceptable in an investigation. Let's have Gourmet assist Posh with investigating the chandelier. Each mystery point... Oh, it's a mystery point, not magic power. Has set amount of resolution points, RP. Yes, I'm retaining this information. If I tell myself that, it will become true, I hope. Or else I'm in trouble, because none of this information is sticking in my brain. You can uncover an MP's secret by reducing its RP to 0, advancing the investigation. Try having Gourmet Detective assist Posh Detective to reveal this MP's hidden mystery. Okay. I'm gonna move her. Right there. Gourmet detective assistance is 4. What's the other ones? Is 6 though. So she's going to assist. Excellent. You're a quick study, it seems. Am I? Or am I just dumb? And I'm gonna listen. The next time I have to do this by myself without the tutorial that Ideal is giving me right now, I don't know how I'm gonna do, but we'll try. Now, what should we have Dolphin do? Do you know what skill he excels at? I don't know, being adorable? Dolphin, oh sorry, that's not her, that's me. Dolphin's skilled at being timid and afraid, right? Come on. Discovering evidence. Precisely. He has a wonderfully observant eye, indispensable in a detective. Dolphin's key characteristic is that he always draws danger to himself. As a result, he is more predisposed to finding clues. Let's have Dolphin use that special trait of his to inspect the area near the chandelier. I'm willing to bet there's a clue left behind there. Evidence squares contain evidence within. Detectives can find these hidden clues by performing an inspection. An inspection's range varies with an individual's inspection value. For example, Dolphin is able to inspect up to 5 squares away. Try intervening with Dolphin to have him inspect the evidence square. Okay. Inspect. Bravo! That was an ideal command you gave. I'm sweating with pride. Swelling with pride. Sweating with pride. Alright, that's enough warming up. It's time to raise the curtains on this detective show. Give the order to start the investigation, and do keep an eye on the passage of time. Once the detective actions are set, press plus to access the main menu and select Investigate or Preliminary. Upon selecting Investigate, the detectives you have intervened with will follow your commands, while the rest will act independently. As in a preliminary investigation, only those you have intervened with will act. It is wise to begin with this, as it can uncover new mysteries or clues. While we haven't intervened with Techie, there isn't much to do, so let's start the investigation right away. Okay, so they're all doing something. Select Investigate from the main menu. But like, so I can just let him do whatever he wants? Okay. What do I click? Investigate. Some characters are intervenable. Start investigation. Sure. Okay. Time to inspect this area. Here I go. Stop! Stop, did he trip and fall? The poor baby. He is adorable. I like Dolphin. He's like really cute. Oh, I tripped again. Huh? A part of the carpet's been cut off. I wonder why. Scrap of carpet. Boost. Why should I cooperate with you? I can handle this all alone, thank you very much. Now, a fine cut of meat is even tastier with the right seasonings, yes? In other words, Posh, you can use me to spice up your deductions. That's a fair point. Very well. Enhance my flavor, Gourmet. The chandelier's all nicked up. Posh, can you take a good look at this? Huh? These scratches. Could they be a hint as to how the culprit killed Senior Detective? Evidence acquired, scratched chandelier. But why must I investigate with you? Asked the girl, her lips pouting in dissatisfaction. Don't say that. Think of this as a chance to learn from your father. Hearths do hold a rustic charm, though having to add the firewood every time is a bit of a hassle.
Firewood? That's it? So that's it, mused the girl, finally pinning down what seemed a miss.
Fireplace. But what? What seems amiss? Can you explain? Burnt glove. Oh, interesting.
Your directions have truly made a difference in how well the investigation is progressing. When I arrived, you pushed the others to work together. It was remarkably pertinent of you. The key difference between detectives and the police is that while we may be an organization, we solve cases alone rather than together. To put it unkindly, detectives see themselves as the lead role of an investigation. Thus, our capability as a team of experts goes unrealized. If we're to take on the Quartering Duke, we can't abide by reckless behavior. Let's you and I take the lead in encouraging everyone to collaborate.
How could someone like me do that? There's no way any of those detectives would follow what I say. Plus, they don't even need me. Ideal detective alone should be able to hold them together.
Your tendency to downplay yourself is a virtue, but also a weakness you will be forced to address someday.
Ideal detective speaks as though she can see into my very soul.
Leaders who make history are often said to be cowards, likely because they fixated not on their potential, but their limits. Know your weaknesses, and in time, you will know all of your strengths. I'm confident you will go through this as well, incompetent.
Why do you have so much faith in me? She opens her eyes wide, fretting over something with an unfocused gaze.
I'd say I can't tell you yet. But that would be selfish of me, wouldn't it? I should let you know before something happens. The true reason I called you here, that is.
The elusive air around her now feels tense. I'm frozen in place as her hydrangea-hued eyes stare at me. My heart is hammering, and my body feels hot all over. There they go again, mentioning her eyes. Like, come on, from a writing standpoint, please, you don't have to say it so many times. We know. We know her eyes are purple like hydrangeas. You don't have to say it over and over and over again. Just once.
Incompetent, my name is... What?
Run, incompetent! Huh? What? At that moment, a powerful force crushes me, and my vision goes black. What? Someone suddenly leaps on my back, taking me to the floor. Excuse me? Who are you? Who are you with your high heels? My head spins. Sparks explode behind my eyes, and my consciousness grows hazy. Through it all, I can feel a strong pressure on my throat. As my voice involuntarily slips out, I finally realize that someone is strangling me. I can't breathe. My mind starts to fade, and my whole body starts to go pale. I flail about in desperation, catching nothing but air. If this keeps up, I know for a fact that it's going to kill me. Renegade detective! Stop! Oh, this is Renegade? Does he wear, high heels? Are you alright, incompetent? What in the world are you thinking, Renegade detective? Turn off your D-pad's location sharing and you can pull off as many ambushes as you want, the way I did just now. Why does he remind me so much of Shobai? Is it just me? Like, why is he the black-haired Shobai? Oh, look, I didn't even notice his hair was so long. It's fabulous. I wanted to show you the dangers of burying your head in that device. How easily you can slip and lose your footing. Forgive me, Holmes. You're talking to the wrong person. Incompetent here deserves a deep, sincere apology. Hurry now, or that charm on your neck will pop. Okay. Got my priorities screwed up. Sorry. The lanky man has a nonchalant air about him. He turns to me, wearing a fake smile. The name's Renegade Detective. I'm a virtuous investigator with a penchant for practical jokes. My favorite phrase is world peace, and I spend my free time volunteering. Hope we can get along. What a liar. There is nothing in what he said that is true. That whole first sentence, not a single word in there is true. There's no way. There's no way he's not crazy. Like, look at his eyes. Look at them. They're soulless eyes. Your conversation was so serious, I had to just butt in with some levity. My bad. Can you forgive me? You will, won't you? Thanks. He prattles on with his apology, finishing up with a cackle. I startle when I notice a line of blood dripping down my neck. Is it really that funny to choke someone so hard that your nails rip their skin? Yeah, see? He's crazy. He's one of those. He's the one who you're going to assume is the culprit every single time, but he's never going to be the culprit. Watch. I was genuinely prepared to die. How far is this guy willing to take a joke? It's not a joke. I think he's a liar. Come on, don't look so scared. Didn't it give you that tingling feeling? No. Listen, not everybody's into that. And now he's beaming at me, face flushed with joy. Clearly this guy is into it. Out of all the detectives I've met, this is by far the most incomprehensible. As fickle as ever, but this time you've gone too far. Do so again, and I will exercise my authority as chief to restrain you. Ideal Detective's voice grows harsher as she steps up to Renegade Detective. Renegade jokingly leaps back in an over-dramatic fashion. Oh, absolutely, dear Holmes. I sure would hate to be inconvenienced. Your word is my command. God, what a liar. I kind of like him, not gonna lie. He's that kind of like sneaky weasel character that I like. I have a feel like that's the vibe I get from him. I'll hold you to that. Now, tell us what you've gathered about this case. I take it that you too have seen the truth of the matter. Renegade's eyes grow wide. He sighs. You got me. It did feel a bit out of character, the way you got so upset. You planned to make me swear I'd cooperate from the very start, huh? Of course. Only second-rate detectives are controlled by their emotions. The finest use them as a weapon. Ideal Detective smiles in triumph. So her harsh tone just now was a lie. I was completely fooled. Ah, well. It was worth it to see a rare glimpse of your fury. So, fine. I'll share my thoughts with you. This case is too transparently pure, so boring it makes me nauseous. The culprit must be so self-satisfied. There's no beauty in it. Not in the least. Killing should be ugly. Beyond redemption, gnarled by emotion, oozing, cloudy, grimy. That's what makes it so fascinating. What are you talking about? His words are utter nonsense. What's more, he says it all so casually, as if he's telling a joke. Just listening to him makes my skin crawl. I'm not equipped to understand the person standing before me. Even the scene of the murder was less chilling than he is. No need for guesswork. It's all plain as day. Check out that scrap of carpet. If my theory is right, some evidence should be left there. Better show me a good time, oh future legend. And with that, Renegade Detective taps my shoulder and departs. Why would he say that? Why did he say future legend? A rather peculiar detective, that one. Yeah, clearly. Yeah, it was like... I stopped myself just in time. It was like talking to a villain. But I obviously can't say that. See, this makes me think it's always going to be thought of that guy is the culprit every single time, and it's never going to be him. Just watch, just watch. It's like talking to a villain, right? Ideal Detective speaks my thoughts for me without reservation. Your intuition is spot on. As a matter of fact, he killed his mother and father with his very own hands during his youth. Okay. Wow. So, he's a murderer? He's an actual murderer? His own parents, too. How is someone like that even in the Detective Alliance? It doesn't matter if he did it as a kid. Letting him have this much freedom is unimaginable. Why was he let into the Alliance? I just can't fathom. It makes me suspect that he might even be the Quartering Duke. No way. No way. The Quartering Duke is probably someone who appears to be our friend. There is no way that that guy is going to be the Quartering Duke. That would be like no, they're not going to do that. There's going to be some kind of crazy twist at the end. The reason is simple. No detective understands homicidal maniacs better than he does. He's been granted a degree of freedom on the condition that he uses his unique skills to work with the Detective Alliance. Although his deductive prowess is on par with my own, his personality stops him from working with others, keeping him at rank number 4. He is the most unorthodox detective in the world, a real renegade, as true to his alias can be. Again, I find myself astounded by the diversity within the DA's personnel. Despite his past, he must be an outstanding detective now. He did give us advice, after all, and even if he's terrifying, he surely has a talent for detective work. I'll just have to find a way to trust him. Yeah, he's gonna be... He's gonna be he's gonna be evil, but I don't think he's gonna end up being the killer in any of these. He's gonna survive this whole thing. Ow, I have a crick in my neck. My neck hurts. Listen. You sleep weird one time and you're in pain for days. It's been days and my neck is killing me. This is what happens when you start nearing 30, okay? Don't get old, people. I whisper this to myself, as if doing so will clear the dark thoughts clouding my mind. This has taken up more time than expected. Let's move on to the meat of the investigation. Renegade told us to inspect the scrap of carpet that had been discovered. A careful analysis of evidence like this can help move a case along, potentially revealing new evidence squares. Of all the detectives nearby, Posh and Techie specialize in analysis. Let's have Posh take a look. 8 hours remain until annihilation. Excuse me? What? Wait, annihilation? What does that mean? Okay, so we're gonna take Posh. What do we do with her? Have her analyze. Can I move her? What do I do? I don't... Oh my. Posh is disgruntled that we made her work with Gourmet. It would seem that she's blocked me from contacting her. We won't be able to intervene with her like this. She certainly is amusing, that Posh. What? So what do we do now? Detectives aren't programs. They're human. It's only natural for there to be detectives with whom you cannot intervene. As such, whoever does the instructing must be able to adapt to the situation. In this instance, we can try giving directions to Techie instead. Techie should also be capable of performing a precise analysis of this evidence. Now, tell him to analyze that section of carpet. When the icon above a detective turns red, you will be unable to intervene with their actions. These individuals will decide actions on their own, so prepare for trouble and make it double. I'm sorry. Evidence you've collected can be analyzed. Each piece has an assigned difficulty level. Higher levels acquire higher analyzation. What? Values. Is that a word? Analyzation? Am I just so tired that that doesn't look like a word to me? Note that items required... Excuse me? Okay, so I'm back. I don't know what just happened, but the game crashed, which was very bizarre to me because I have never had a game crash on the Switch before. Like, I've been playing Switch games for a long time, and I've never had one crash like that before. I was so surprised. Anyway, I'm back here to play. I was keeping track of how long this episode currently was because I wanted to get around that 2-hour mark, like I said before. And now I have no idea where it left off. So I think I'm gonna play maybe for 15-20 more minutes, and then I guess we'll see what happens. But okay, I thought I could save here. I can't save or anything in this section of the game, or I don't even know, but like we're doing something with him. Okay, so we have to have Techie analyze the scrap of carpet. Okay. Perform a preliminary investigation to have Techie analyze this evidence. Use preliminary investigations to stall time and keep tabs on other detectives' actions. Okay. Start preliminary investigation. Yes. This scrap of carpet. When we approach it scientifically, there's only one explanation for how it was cut. Quick, we need to investigate the floor of the entrance hall. Excellently done. Now, we have something new to consider. There isn't much time, since we cannot direct Posh. What should we do to draw an inference on this new point of interest? Any thoughts? So like, this, I know this is like a tutorial, right? I'm getting a tutorial, but all this information, she's giving me so much information, I'm not gonna remember any of it. New MPs and ESs, whatever that means, will I'm sure I read it, but like I remember, will appear as the detectives advance the investigation. It is recommended to do a preliminary investigation first, so that other detectives can still act afterward. This will help streamline the process, as they can then move closer to new MPs or ESs that appear. Okay? There's too much information at once. I'm like,
What am I supposed to do? There are gaps on the floor of the entrance hall. What purpose do they serve? Intervene on Gourmet and Doleful and have them infer about the mysterious point. Do I move her? I can't do anything with her. So do I move? I move? I can't move her.
Well done. You are a joy to behold. I look forward to seeing the results of this investigation. Oh yes, if there's a detective who has yet to move, and you'd like them to go elsewhere, you should instruct them to do so. Take Techie, for example, since he's only done an analysis so far. This mystery is centered in the entrance hall, so let's have him head there. A detective who acted but did not move may do so following a preliminary investigation. Preemptively move individuals to the next point of suspicion to further aid your investigation.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Just like that. Now then, you want him to perform an action in the entrance hall. He can do so without wasting any time. But won't the mysteries we're investigating there be gone by then? I wonder about that. We'll just have to await the results of their deductions with bated breath. Also, I would suggest having any idle detectives inspect the area. Though it might not directly pertain to the case, they could happen upon something interesting. Now, once you're ready, instruct them to begin the investigation. Upon starting an investigation, those you haven't intervened with will perform predetermined actions. If you notice any idle detectives, it's a good idea to check what actions they can perform. Detectives who don't act can relocate to any space on the map. To do so, select Move and then press Y. Be aware, however, that a detective will be unable to act after a map-wide movement. Okay. Select I can move her? What is hold on. What is this? What is that? Can I move her over there? I'm gonna move her here. Going over there. I don't know what that does, but there you go. I can have him analyze. Why don't you analyze the fireplace? No? I can't do that. Can you analyze the fireplace? No, her analyzation is even worse. Never mind. Okay, I'm just gonna let him just do what he wants. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, the floor. On closer inspection, I can see gaps between the boards. Maybe that explains how sound travels so easily down below. The gaps are also wide enough to pass a wire through. This might have something to do with how the culprit dismembered the body.
Evidence acquired, floor gaps.
Aha. Solving the connection between the floor gaps and the carpet caused a mystery point, an evidence square, to appear by the entrance. Then we made the right call having Techie Detective move to the entrance hall. Indeed we did. Sometimes solving one mystery leads to another. Be sure to keep that in mind. Alright, I'm not going to tell you what to do next. This time you must command the detectives on your own.
Uh-oh. I'm not smart enough for this.
Huh? There's no way I can do that. Can't you? You've been giving great direction so far, just as I anticipated you would. I can't save the game. I'm so scared the game's gonna crash again. I mean, I saved a little bit because I had ended up back at the beginning right where I started this episode, and I had to click through everything. It was so annoying. But it won't let me save right now. So when I guess when I'm in this investigation, I can't save, which is kind of annoying because it's very long. So I feel like I should be able to save. Now, you must exceed my expectations. It's up to you to unravel this bizarre and formidable case. Is it? Here we go again with the hydrangea eyes. I'm getting frustrated now. Listen. It's bad writing to have it over and over and over and over again. Come on. Once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in the span of a 300-page book. You don't need to say it over and over and over again. Like, please. Like, he it won't stop. She's serious. Her gaze holds no mirth, only anticipation. The chief of the DA is looking to me, an utter incompetent. I'm also an utter incompetent, so we have that in common. If I turn back now, how will I ever become an exceptional detective? I'll do it. In fact, I'll go above and beyond. Good. Show me how your mind works, then. I look at the D-pad, the gears in my brain whirring frantically. Some mystery points are locked. You can access these mystery points by solving other mystery points beforehand, or by analyzing evidence. Detectives will still attempt to investigate locked mystery points, so be sure to analyze whenever possible. Alright, so I'm back again. I'm gonna try to do this right this time. I'm still not 100% on how the mechanics for this work. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I want to try it again because I don't want to fail the whole chapter because I did awful in the investigation when I tried it the first time. So I went back and I started again. Now this we have here is new, so I'm gonna read this, but I'm very sorry. It's very confusing. It feels like a game of chess or something, and that really it hurts my brain genuinely so much. Anyway.
How very intriguing, mused the girl, imitating the genius physics professor of a certain TV show.
Okay, so I can get... okay, what I can do is I can move them into these other rooms. How do I... It said to press Y. I'm so confused. How do I do it again? This is... It's too much information at once. Now I have to Google it. Ugh. So yeah. I have to Google it. That's what I'm doing right now. Because I thought it said Y, but I'm pushing Y and I can't do it. Do I move first and then put... Oh! Okay, never mind. So I'm gonna move him. So I can investigate these red points. I had to Google it. So I can move him here. And he can inspect this eventually, I suppose. Okay. I can move her now. Y. Move. Y. I can move her into one of these bedrooms. Put her there for now. Okay, so there she goes. She can be in there. Now she can't do anything, so I'll just leave her in there. I'm gonna have him... We're gonna move him over here. And have him... Infer about that? No, it's inspect this. Okay, so he's doing that. I'm gonna have him. No. Yes. I'm gonna have him come over. Can't get there. I will have her do it then. Her, stop. Ugh. Square's stressing me out. Just leave her there then. If maybe she can analyze something? No. Okay. It's back over there, I guess. I don't know. Can you analyze something? No. I'm gonna use preliminary. What is this switch on the wall? There's a separate one for the light, so this must be for activating something else. Evidence acquired wall switch. Okay. So I have that. So I can still do something with him. Doleful. What do I do with him? Guess I could move him. I'll move him here for now. I don't know what to do with him right now. Okay. I'm going to go back over here. Move her right here. And then I'm going to have her inspect over here. And then I'm going to move him. I'm going to move him into this room. Right there. So they're going to investigate these. Okay, okay, I'm gonna move Doleful over here, have him infer about this. The thing on the wall, we should try check. Oh, since it's locked, what can I do? Just inspect it? I don't know. Struggles. It's the struggle bus over here. Okay. Maybe I could move her this side. So she can look at this. Okay, and then what do I do with him? I don't know. What do I do with him? Genuinely, I don't know. I think I could just leave him. I don't think I need to do anything with him right now, so I'm just gonna do a preliminary. Okay, be analyzed.
Oh, like I thought. The switch lifts the chandelier back up. You could use it over and over. It's a wonderful bargain, like a yogurt starter culture.
What does that mean?
Splendid. We couldn't infer anything about the MP before, but analyzing the evidence has made it possible. This will happen quite often. Always ensure you find the information needed to properly make an inference. How very intriguing, mused the girl, imitating the genius physics professor of a certain TV show.
The keyword. Like, I don't, does it have anything to do with, like, the investigation itself? I didn't have him do this? Oh. Whoops. Oopsies. I'll have her do it next time, I guess. My bad. gonna have him go over here. Move. Right there. And inspect there. You, I'm gonna move you because I forgot to do it in the other room like a dummy. Turn here. I hope I... Excuse me? Now I have to do this again? Oh, I have to do it again. Why did I push B? I hope I get the hang of it as it goes, as the game progresses, because this segment of the game has been a little bit discouraging to me. Why did I just do that again? Oh my god. Why do I keep clicking B? Anyway, it's been very discouraging to me because I spent, I don't know how many minutes, 45 minutes trying to figure out how it works and struggling immensely, so you know, I think I'm getting the hang of it. I'm gonna leave him to do whatever he wants. I don't care what he does. But I hope it gets a bit better. This information seems useful. I shall share it with the others. Pushing this switch makes the chandelier go back up. If this was used in the crime, there should be something else mounted just above the chandelier. I have to get up there. Oh, don't overexert yourself, okay, Doleful? I figured out what's going on, so let me check the ceiling for you instead. Okay. Investigation complete. Oh, so I missed the opportunity to get that? Okay. I didn't get all the keywords. Is that okay? You know what? It's better than the last time I tried. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. And I'm going to end here. I'm going to end it here. So on a much happier note that I ended it the first time I tried to do the outro for this part, because I struggled immensely with this section of the game, and I'm just hoping that it gets easier as it progresses, but knowing me, I'm going to struggle anyway. But you know what? We'll try our best. I think I kind of understand it now, because I had to kind of like Google it and look up like how it really works, because even through the tutorial, I'm like, none of the information was resonating with me. So, sorry, my reading comprehension skills are not good. It's kind of bad. Someone who claims to be a writer who has reading comprehension skills of, I don't know, a second grader maybe. It's awful. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next part. Bye-bye.